All right, we're going live. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Round 8. Here we go. We're going to get it on like Donkey Kong tonight. We got a special guest that I honestly don't think that anybody has interviewed this guy. He's been around the block for a while. Great guy, great channel. So let's get ready to introduce Mr. We got Jeff, of course, but Mr. Skippy.
Yeah,
Skip
get Bill
RC.
RC. That's right.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How are you guys?
Nice to be had here, guys. I'm missing somebody.
There we
Oh, you'll be
are.
missing me because I've got my camera turned off currently.
Oh, okay.
It's just so Skype.
Are we on? Are we in the air?
Yeah, we're on right now.
We're doing okay. Okay. I couldn't get my phone to work, so I'm flying, guys. Excuse me. No
You're
difference
good, my
from what I
friend.
normally do, anyway, right? Forget my glasses half the time. And, oh shit! Don't realize the plane's up there. So.
Yeah,
Oh,
guys. We got the almighty Skip Build RC in the house tonight, guys. Skip's from the OG. He's been around a while. He's like the guru. We all look up to Skip. He's been doing this for a minute, and we were glad to have him come in tonight and talk with us. So glad to have all you guys here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Dave Marshall says the OG Skippy. Dustin ain't got nothing on this guy, and you're
That's
absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Look at
right. Yeah.
There you
pretty
go.
tricky.
This thing.
So Skip,
Oh, that's right.
First question is behind you. Is that all Corsairs?
Yeah, I've got three of them. I've got the big one there. I have not flown. That one I've flown the hell out of. In fact, that was the midair crash with the timber, and that one hit the ground first.
Uh-huh.
That one there, I won off of Pilot Ryan's show.
Oh, yeah, okay. Have you flown that one yet on Pilot Ryan?
No, I'm waiting to take the receiver. My theory is I'm going to take the receiver out of that one because they're about the identical, same everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I think I'll have a bind and fly safe select. And that had like the two different levels of safe, which I kind of like.
Okay, cool.
Right on.
Real hard banks and stuff with it too.
Okay, cool.
That's
Well,
great for
reason I was asked is like Dave Kowalski and y'all could be very good friends because he loves the Corsair. A friend of mine sent me apparently there's I don't know if it's a Danish. I can't remember what origin, the country, but it's $3.5 million. So, guys, if we do the super chats, when we get to that point, if we can round up $3.5 million, we can
Right,
have
there you
a Corsair. How cool would that be?
Look at all the planes Skip's got in there, man. It's like
Oh,
that
man.
air museum. I mean, look at this, man. Dang, I thought I had it bad. Man,
Lord have mercy.
dang. It's like you can't fling a dead cat in that room without hitting the airplane.
It's tough having the dogs in here, I tell you.
I can imagine.
How are you doing tonight, Mr. John? Glad to have you in.
Oh,
Got
wow.
Mary Boozer's in the house
We
too.
got-
See you, Wesley.
We got Wesley, we got
Hands
George
for a second,
Watt,
guys.
we got Eric, we got Rick and Roy, of course my buddy Guniak. Sorry, Dave and Guniak, I wasn't on the show last night. Gave my daughter a bath.
I tried,
and-
Ray. Tried.
Yeah, so funny
Guniak,
story.
I chimed in. I chimed in with Guniak there. He's finally get to see what the guy looks like. Talked to him enough times.
Really. He's like Charlie on Charlie's Angels. Nobody knew what Ray looked like.
Right,
You know?
he's going for that mysterious look.
Right.
But no, so I gave my daughter a bath and trying to put her down to sleep, and I ended up falling. She fell asleep first, and then I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, I had like a few text messages from Jeff saying, "Hey man, like where you at? Where you at?" So I got filled in on that. But
That's right.
yeah, we got, like I said, we got Eric, we got Guniak, Mary Boozer, John Hill, Dave Marshall, GB Linden, Chuck
Cody
G,
Adair.
Cody Adair, yes, Dennis Farley.
Yeah.
Mike SSI. I mean,
25 in the house so far, man. Great turnout tonight.
Come on in. Don't forget the likes and subscribes.
Yes, exactly. Check out everybody here, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we all know Skip. I mean, if you're not subscribed to Skip's channel by now, shame on you, man. Because this guy can take anything and put it back together again. It's like Humpty Dumpty. Skip can take the most wrecked up plane and put it back together, and he'll be flying it within just a couple of days. You know?
Oh yeah, I remember his the timber. Like you did like the repaint of the timber because again like. And I kind of tell the story more than I should, so to speak. But you know, I was machining in my shop, and Mike and Ryan came on, and they were building Mike's Freewing A10 with little Nerf whistles, and I was like, man, this is so cool, so cool, so cool. And that's what got me back into flying. I started watching their videos, but then it led to Skip. I remember Skip was like the second person I started watching. Because it wasn't like a review or anything like that. It was just like, this is a genuine guy that's just flying and having fun. And he didn't, and I'm not saying that Ryan or Mike does this at all, but he showed his crashes. And he's like, oh, well, guys, like, this what happened, that what happened, and he'll take you along for the ride to fix it. And that was really cool. And that's what I loved about it. It's genuine.
That's right. Well, I mean, I've always said, and I told Skip, I said, Skip is real, Skip is obtainable. We can all relate to Skip. I mean, I just, like I told you today on the phone, buddy, I mean, I love you, man. And I've been watching your stuff for a long time and learning a lot from you. But tell us about yourself, man. I mean, tell us what brought you into this hobby. How long have you been doing it? And what is your passion in this hobby? What brings you joy in this hobby, man?
In all honesty, at the time, my life was up in the air when I started, and this was about going on, well, I'm going in my 5th season right now, so it'll be May of 14, somewhere around there. So out of a relationship, kind of out of a family situation, no furniture or anything in the house. I was drinking pretty heavily, and I was going downhill pretty fast, and I figured I needed to get myself out of a situation. And I checked myself in and did a 30-day stretch and signed myself in for 30 days. I went out to Las Vegas, Nevada to do it. Figured no better place than the Sierra Desert to dry out. Awesome. And it was a great place called Desert Hope. And I'd recommend it to anybody out there, anybody. I mean, they were fantastic. What I liked about these people were that they weren't just educated idiots, you know, telling you stuff out of a book. They lived it. You know, chances are that every instructor that was there lived what he was teaching. They lived what he was preaching. So there was no wondering about what was going on. That person knew what was on your mind before you did. And with that kind of outlook and a knowledge of it, I mean, just being slapped in the face with that reality, you know, you have to sit up and take notice because these people really know what they're talking about. So, you know, if you have the least amount of intelligence and bottom line is, you know, you have to want to quit.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And it's destroying my life, my health. I mean, I almost died. I woke up in the back with an ambulance. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital, stayed there for a week, and they flew me straight from the hospital out to Las Vegas. I never even came home.
Wow.
So when I came home, I was desperate to find something to do. First, it was, first I had to find furniture for the house because I didn't have any. I had a television. I looked like the old Maxell commercial. I had a chair, a lazy boy chair, a table next to it, and a television at the far end of the room. And that was all I had except for my bedroom. I had a bed in there and a dresser. But that was about it. No kitchen set, no nothing. So I started power shopping, Goodwill and Salvation Army and stuff like that, and I found some really good deals. Mm-hmm. Like the desk I'm sitting here at, this thing was probably about $1,500 desk at one point. It's all solid oak. It's beautiful. Wow. It's solid. I can't move this physically without taking it apart, and I had to take it apart to get it in the house. But
you found a lot of good deals. I mean, really good deals. It was awesome. At those.
I'll tell you, it was actually kind of habit forming in a way because I would get to they wanted $100 and something for the thing, and I showed up on a day when it was a blue ticket day, and the thing had a blue ticket, and I had a rain check for like 50% off, and then because of something else, I got another 20 or 12% off. It came out to being $12.50.
I love it. I love it.
And
Yeah,
they were
like a
asking
bandit.
they were asking like $100 for it, so I got it for $12. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, even then, $100, that's well worth it being Solid Oak, but even more, 12.50 is like you're a dang on stole that sucker.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
hey. Now I don't know what just happened to my screen here because it all went blank in the middle, but I've still got both of you up in cameos.
Yeah, we're seeing you good. You're
We're
good.
seeing you're good. Just there you go. Move your mouse around. There you go. It's because put your screen in the full screen mode.
Okay,
There you go.
full screen mode.
Yes,
Now
sir.
I got it. Okay, now I
Yeah.
got Jeff full screen, but I don't have.
Oh, you won't have me because I got my camera off. I only got one
You
camera
just don't
rolling right now.
now.
you get to see Pretty Boy McFly.
Well, stop.
Oh man, I think that name
Well,
might
say back
stick.
to you, Skip. Okay, so
So who else we got in the house there tonight, guys? Are you getting Jeff? You ought to be interviewing Cody Adair, and flipping Jason from Horizon.
look, they're great guys.
Yeah, great guys. I'd love to talk to him. I'd love to meet him, but you know.
Hey, look, hey, Cody, if you're still in the room,
He is.
get this man a Spectrum hat. He has sold a numerous amount of planes for you guys at Horizon Hobby. He is a guru. He is from the OG. Get this man a Spectrum hat. He deserves that hat, guys. Come on.
Too. I'll order something for. I'll support the club, guys.
That's right. Help him out. Come on,
Honest to
man.
God, I've sold tons of airplanes. I mean,
That's right. Look at all the planes around this man, guys.
almost 100,000 views just on the SU unboxing alone.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Hey, look, Skip, I bought a mini plane watching you from back in the day, man. So, yeah, they can give you a hat, man. So, Cody, if you're out there watching, man, send this man a hat. And look, take it off my tab, okay?
Oh,
Give this man a hat.
Cody goes, haha, Spectrum hat, you say?
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
Yes, give this man a hat.
Dave,
But so,
Dave
so, I mean,
Marshall.
so, Skip, so you said you've been in your 5th season, man. I mean, so what gave you? I mean, we know what got you here, and you know, and as far as your planes go, I mean, did you fall in love with this hobby right away? Did you teach yourself how to fly? I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
it was. I'm sorry. I realized I didn't. Short-term memory loss happens to us old farts sometimes.
that's right. Yeah.
Track of conversation, but yeah, it was started off with refurbishing the house and stuff like that. Well, I got that pretty well done, and I got a phone call from my ex's daughter, who was kind of an ex with this guy, this friend that I knew, and she said she was on her way over. Did she mind if she stopped by real quick? She had a couple things to get, and then she was going to go over to see him. He had built a drone, and I said, drone? You know, what do you mean a drone? You mean a drone like flies around drone, one of those? She says, yeah, he built it. It's got GPS and everything. I'm like, this I got to see. Can I come? So I said, sure. So I followed her down there, and guy flew the thing. I'm like, that was really, really pretty cool. So I thought, well, you know, if he can do that, I can do that because I need something to do. So I started building my own first drone, and that was that little Spider Mini X I built. Awesome little drone. I still got the thing. It's GPS, you know, altitude, you know, a whole 9 yards. I could fly 14 different missions with the thing, have it stop, have to do different things, land, take off. But, you know, one-touch recovery, you lose radio contact, thing comes back and lands by itself. I put night vision camera on it. I mean, I really put all the best stuff I could find. T-motor ESCs, T-motor motors, just like Hollywood quality stuff. Anyway, got bored with that after flying it for a little while and having fun. I started seeing a couple guys flying planes. And I looked over at my buddy Chris. He was flying his drone. I says, I got to have one of those. He says, what? I said, I got to have a plane. I've got to get a plane. It looks like so much more fun than this. You know, just sitting there, going around taking pictures, taking video. You know, an occasional flip if you got the nerve. You know, but no, you know, it's like that plane just looks like something that would really be right up my alley. So, instead of listening to all the smart people out there say, you get a trainer plane, top wing trainer, don't get and at least I was smart enough not to buy I figured at first, like everybody, you get something small,
Yeah.
It'll be easier to fly, right? Wrong. Anything less than an 800 or 900 millimeter airplane, you're in trouble for a beginner. Okay, so I got a 900 millimeter Dragonfly top wing trainer.
Okay.
After I'd already crashed the jet because I didn't listen to everybody about that trainer. So I bought the F-16 free wing when it first came out in 70 millimeter, 70. At least it was the 70.
Yeah.
And I flew it and I crashed it and I had over 100 pieces. Over 100 pieces. I found every single piece and I put it back together with an entire 2-ounce bottle of foam pack.
Love it.
And
it weighs 4 pounds heavier now.
And it did. I put a coat of paint on it, but to look at it afterwards, you could not tell.
I bet.
But it took a little extra leg to get it up to get it to step.
Yeah, talk about modeling.
Yeah. Bind and fly. Yeah.
I threw a
glue and play.
ESC in there. I threw a little beefier 12-blade fan and stuff and motor in there. And I flew it again, and doggone, I flew the hell out of it until one day it's flying, and it's going perfect. All of a sudden, zoom, nothing. No controls, no nothing. I just watched like this missile go slowly down into the ground.
Ooh,
right
that's always hard to watch.
Oh, it went right through the trees. That made a really normal sound. And then the thud afterwards, I'm like, okay, there's not much left of that one.
Right. Well, the thud, when you have like a really solid thud, it gives you kind of hope because it means like everything's kind of in one area versus like if you hit like like a lot of limbs, it kind of rips the plane as it's flying through. So it's like pixie dust.
You know what? Hey, look, Dustin, what's sad is when you carry a 5-gallon bucket in your truck. So if you crash the plane, you can just carry it home in a 5-gallon bucket. I carried my T-45, the first one, home in a 1-gallon ice cream bucket. If that tells you guys anything.
Yeah, you walk in and then Tara's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're home. I bought some ice cream." He's like,
"Here it is."
Yeah.
Oh,
usually
man.
I'm able to carry a back with me, but. In enough pieces, but I do have some garbage bags in the back of my truck just in case.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have that big one. Last summer was a pretty big one. I almost needed I had to go back, drive around to go get the thing. I couldn't carry it all back.
Was that your L39 Skip?
That was my L39.
Yes.
I remember that because that hurt me watching it.
I have since put the ratchet on that throttle control because that thing was so slick. It's not. I even bumped it a couple of times afterwards, just testing it, and I could barely touch it, and the thing would do the full travel all the way down position. I'm like, okay, I can't have that. Just cannot have that. I'm losing some feeling in my feet and my neuropathies and stuff that I have.
Yeah.
So I put it in the ratchet position. So if I bump it, I'll feel it ratchet.
Right.
And not to mention, it pretty much stays where I put it that way, too. Even if I do bump it, it might not ratchet.
Right. Yeah, because...
so that was the only reason I crashed that plane.
Yeah. But you got another one, and you almost had that one fixed, man. I thought you were going to put that one back together.
No, that one meant something to me. It flew so perfect, so beautiful right off the bat that there was no way in hell I was just going to glue that one back together. That one...
Well, that's like Dustin has that same jet, man, and he's flown at our field, and it is a beautiful flying airplane. And I mean, he wrung it out that day he came to our field. He wrung that plane out, man. And so I get it. It's a beautiful flying jet. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, if I could have replaced more of the components and stuff, say on that B-17, I would have probably done that. But it was a sold-out item. It was a discontinued plane, so I had no choice but to either fix what I had or junk it. So I chose to fix it. I usually try to fix it. I don't think the only one I've trashed now, and I still haven't thrown it away, is the parts from one of my Mustangs, and and that Dragonfly that I just tore apart to build that Banggood plane that I made, that Stinger 270 pusher
Right.
should fly. That thing should fly.
Yeah, this L39s. I remember I posted a picture of the L39 with Guniax Afterburner, and of course, there's always that one guy in the crowd that's like, "That's not scale. They don't have afterburners." I'm like, "You do you. I'll do me. You do what you want to do, and I'm gonna do what I want to do, and it's cool." And the only reason I put it in there was because of the it was the only plane that I had that was like a single exhaust. It was like a tube, so it's a straight like light out the back. You know, kind of like the MiG. And I just want to see what it looked like, and I was like, "That's cool." So I kept it in there. I still got it in there.
Yeah, it looked really good. Yeah, but Skip, I started watching you, man, a long time ago, and I love your techniques. I love how every time I watch you, I learn something, and it doesn't matter how long anybody's been in this hobby, guys. We all bring something different and a different way.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
like an aha moment. It's like we all go, dang, I didn't think about that. So, yeah, I mean, so Skip, every time I watch you, I mean, I learn something. I pick up a different technique or a different way that I might could incorporate into what I'm doing. Yeah, man, and I just love watching you because, like I said, you're so obtainable. You're real. Your videos are just real. I like watching you and the Crash Test boys, Marty and all the guys.
Yep.
Oh, those guys are sick, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, all you guys are great. I used to watch your stuff too, and you guys went out on the pontoon boat with your planes with floats and everything. Your boats. I mean, man, I've been there through it all, buddy. I mean, I love all your stuff, man. So I just, yeah, you just don't seem to. I don't think you really truly understand what you bring to this awesome community and hobby, man. And you're very humble, and for that, I truly applaud you, man. I mean, I just think you're great, man, at what you do.
What I know is a drop in the bucket compared to so many people out there, and I've learned from watching guys like you, like Dustin. Everybody, no matter who they are, they've got something to show. They come up with an idea. Sure, maybe you can elaborate on that idea a little bit.
Right.
I tried for 3 years to come up with an afterburner idea. You know, like that center fire. Or just to even make it myself somehow. And I finally got that kind of figured out now, and now I've lost interest in it. So,
well, but a lot of times if you're like me, once I accomplish something, it's like, okay, well, I did that. Let's move on to the next thing.
That's what I do my whole life.
Yeah, and I know Dustin's
I've got all these airplanes. It's like since I was a kid, I had to have all the rings for the if they had 5 rings, collect all 5.
Yeah,
Got all 5 of those suckers, So from childhood, I've had to have collections. I didn't just have one snake when I was a kid. I had 5. I stuff like cars and bikes and things like that. I had one of, normal stuff. But collections, like HO cars, I had a whole huge collection of them.
Yeah.
Hardly ever ran them all, but
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's like, and I'm sure all you guys out there in the community have, the ones of you that have wives or girlfriends, you've heard it just like I have. Well, how many planes do you need? Well, I mean, they all fly differently. They all look different. They're all beautiful in their own way. They all have different characteristics.
I think it comes down to beauty being in the eyes of the beholder. I mean, some people like, artwork hanging on their wall. Okay, I had pictures before I started getting into the airplanes. I had pictures all over the place. This house really looked like a nice house for an older gentleman. But, it's like, it's just me. I don't have to worry about anybody else. Nobody's going to complain. And I've got ceiling space I don't use, and I really like these planes. And to me, I have more fun, more enjoyment looking at these different models. I've seen my lazy boy sometimes and just kind of gaze off at them. It sounds kind of strange, but I like looking at them.
Well, but each plane has a different memory. I mean, if you flew a certain plane, I can look at any of my planes and think of the day I maidened it, man. And
exactly.
how nervous I was. every time
you can think about some real close calls that you
yes,
have.
yes. I mean, every time you fly that plane, it brings back a different reaction or a different memory. So I mean, and you know, my wife will ask me a lot of times when I come home from the field, from a day when I stay a day, and she'll ask me. She's like, "Well, why do you act like you're so tired?" Nobody understands. Yeah. Nobody understands the adrenaline, the different range of emotions you feel when you're flying these airplanes, from excitement to nervousness to sheer exhaustion until you get that plane back on the ground. You go through so many emotions from start to finish of flying a plane, especially on your maiden flights. And even after a maiden, every time, if you put your heart into a plane like I did this F-16, every time you fly it, you're nervous, man. I mean, so it's just, you're exhausted by the end of the day, even though it's a feeling there's no drug in the world can give you. It's the best thing that I've said it many times. You don't need a drug. Come fly an airplane. I can give you a good rush if that's what you want.
Yeah, really. You want an adrenaline rush? Fly a plane.
Exactly.
Now, you asked me before, why did I, and I told you about the drinking.
Yeah.
It was actually flying an airplane. I found out that flying an airplane was one thing that I could do, that while I'm doing that, I'm not thinking about a single other thing in my life at that time.
Yes.
I mean, not my drinking, not having the next cigarette, not
yes.
paying that mortgage, not worrying about the flat tire on the truck if there was one. But yeah, anything. You're not thinking about anything. You can so totally focus and remove yourself that it made quitting drinking and staying off the sauce so much easier for me than a lot of other people. Not to mention, this is an expensive hobby. I kind of put myself in a forced situation so that I could either fly airplanes or I could drink and die.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I chose to fly airplanes. And in all honesty, I was spending about the same amount of money on booze every month as I was on airplanes every month. So,
and you have something to show for it.
I got a lot to show for it.
That's right.
And man, you imagine if I'd have started this a long time ago and quit drinking a long time ago, I'd have to have a real hang.
And look, it's like Dave Marshall was saying a while ago. Dave, I put this MiG right here. This is one of my favorites. This is the Avios MiG 17 from Hobby King. I put it in a tree a couple of weeks ago. I've got the video. It's coming, so wait for it. And it was just a stupid mistake. I landed the plane. I did a slight bounce. So I figured I'll do a go around. I went up and I lost low voltage cutoff, and the plane started alphaing on me. I was over the trees. I tried to turn it, tried to bring it past the trees, went right into the thickest pine tree limb stuck out over the field. It's stuck there. Well, we got it down with a fishing rod, but in doing so, it tore a big chunk out of the leading edge of the wing over here. But I filled it back in with foam, spackled it, fixed it. You can't even tell where it happened. She's ready to fly right now. So, Skip, as you well know, you're going to crash. You're going to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the hobby, man, is, yes, I mean, none of us really like to mess up a plane, but...
No, but you know what? You learn something every time you mess it up, don't you?
Yeah, and you do.
Unfortunately, that's the only way you can learn it.
That's right. And it gives you something to do. You know, on a rainy day, you pull it out, you fix it. You know, yeah, we've had a lot of wind here, just like I think you have, Skip, in North Carolina.
25 mile an hour today.
Oof. So, you know, it got me getting this plane back together. I've got a brand new one up here in a box. Dustin knows that. But I figured, why get a brand new one out when I can fix this one? I know I can, and I did. So she's ready to be flown again, and before I finish totally painting it, I'm going to fly it, make sure everything's right, and then I'll finish totally painting it in polyacrylic, the whole 9 yards. So, but it's a great jet. This jet's awesome, and I just couldn't let it not be fixed. Kind of like your L-39, Skip.
Yeah, no, I had to do that proper. There was no way around that.
That's right. The L-39. I always hear a lot of people talk about the L-39 versus the Avanti, or maybe even the F-86. But that the L-39, I don't. There is no other plane that in my humble opinion, that can touch it. And to add to what Mike Juices said, flying, yeah, it's an addictive hobby. It's an expensive hobby, especially for repairs. But it's therapy. It's to me at least, it's very therapeutic.
It is, man. Boy, look, I don't play golf. A driver for golf can cost upwards of $1,000 or more. That's just one club. You got to have numerous clubs. You got to play green fees. You got to have balls. You got to have shoes. You got to have this. You got to have that. I mean, all I'm saying is there's a lot more expensive hobby. Dustin used to do competitive shooting. You know what that cost as well with ammunition and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Skip, what are you doing? But yeah, so I mean, there's
fireproof.
Right. There's an expense in everything you do, guys. But I mean, it's like I say, I don't do those things. So this is what I enjoy. It's my passion. And you know what? My family is invited to come out with me anytime they want to. I mean, my wife can come, my kid can come. I'd love my kid to be into it. So it's not something that my family can't come enjoy. So I could be doing a lot worse is kind of how I look at it,
Right, absolutely. Yeah, in competitive shooting, I still got my rifles. Matter of fact, I still got my kit, part of it. That's my reloading press. Because, you roll your own. There isn't no going to Cabela's or ordering online and getting that 20-pack. No, you need 200 rounds per match. Every single 6...
That looks nice.
It's
hey, yeah. Love the Tiger Cat.
Let's see. Why
make my hand disappear?
Oh.
Give a guy a new toy. What are you going to do with it?
Exactly. That's right. You play with it.
So Jeff, I got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Alrighty. You guys know my intimate ultra secrets now, and what started you on the smart technology? How did you come in contact with Cody and Jason Merkel and get started on this project?
Well, Pilot Ryan did a show back before Christmas introducing the smart chargers, which actually he was showing the S2100 smart charger on his show, and he was actually showing the smart checker that I think a lot of us guys now have, which if you don't have one, you need to have one. It's an awesome tool. And Brian was showing these things, and I just happened to make a comment. I said, hey, Ryan, you let me build you a case around that charger. And Cody happened to be in the room. And next thing I know, Cody was like, hey, Jeff, do you have a video channel? Do you have a video for that? Skip, you're tripping. And I was like, yes, I do. So I sent
crazy nut.
I sent him a link to that, and he looked at it and was impressed by it. And next thing I know, I'm getting a email from him on my Gmail account, and the rest is kind of history. We talked about it. He told me he'd send me what I needed to build this case for him, and and then my wife, of course, she blowed it out of the water, man, with her CNC abilities. I couldn't have ever done it without her, as I've said in all the videos. I told Cody that. I drew it from my...
How does a woman learn that stuff? I don't mean that as a gender issue, but honestly, most women don't gravitate toward that type of...
Well, Tara is very tech savvy, man. Like I told you earlier in our conversation yesterday, she's very tech savvy. Yeah, and I mean, she can figure out anything. And she loves to read. I'm a visual person, so YouTube is my friend. She can read something and comprehend it.
Me too. That's how I learned to build the drone. That's how I learned to...
Yeah, and so she basically has taught herself. And Josh Weaver was talking to me actually today and telling me that they have guys they fly in to teach them how to use CNC, and it's given him a different respect for it. And Dustin is super talented at that. And here again, I keep showing these guys these Legos, Skip, that Dustin has made. These right here, I mean, the tolerances on these Legos are incredible, and they're all aluminum milled. And what I'll show you here, because Josh Weaver likes to see this, they fit perfectly together to the point that they click together when they go together, and they are incredible. And once you start playing with them, you can't hardly put them down. But so this is CNC is something that's really hard to learn. And yes, Tara did teach herself. So these decks, like this one behind me, one piece of acrylic has to fit into the other perfectly with like minimal tolerances, guys. And I'm talking down to the thousandths. And yes, she did that and she figured it out. So, that's basically, I couldn't have done it without her, Skip. And that's kind of how it came about.
Does she have any twins, unmarried twins?
She does have a sister.
Is she unmarried?
Yes, she is unmarried, Skip.
Well.
Well.
Flight Club, aka Match.com.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
But
that's how it
I'd be happy if a girl talked dirty to me.
I hear you, man. But that's how it came about. And Cody's been fantastic through this whole thing, man. And Jason Merkel is actually wanting me to do one for him based around the separate power supply, a DC charger, the S1500, which I can't wait to do because that's going to be another whole deal within itself, being able to use DC power, 12-volt power, plus AC power. So, yeah, I'm looking very forward to doing that as well. Just got a lot going on, talking with a different company right now on some other options that we've got in doing this. That's pretty exciting. I haven't even talked to Cody about that yet. So a lot of things coming down the pipe. We're very blessed and just happy to be in the company of guys that I'm in and be working also with Dustin as my partner in crime here with our channel and just having a good time with it, man.
Outstanding. Well, you've really gone into a lot of thought processes and stuff, and I'm gathering Cody had a lot of input and stuff like that, what he was looking for, or did you already prototype?
Well, funny thing is, Skip, Cody, he sent me the two chargers that he wanted the case built around, and he said, I trust you, you got free reign, do what you want to do. So I sent him a couple of drawings that I had rendered, blueprints. I also sent him a couple of quick videos of layouts that I had in mind. And again, he called me up. He said, look, man, you got full reign. I trust you. Everything I'm seeing, I like. Do what you want to do. And so Tara and I sat down and went to work, man. And we had to run several test plates and things like that. This is one that we ran. And this is out of a different material just to make sure our cuts were right. This deck you're seeing back here behind me, this is a acrylic, as you can see through it, and this is etched into the acrylic from the back side so that this fits into this front deck. And again, that has to be within thousandths of tolerance. So Dustin knows what I'm talking about there. Mm-hmm. So, again, kudos to my wife, man, because I couldn't have done it without her. There's no way.
He did an outstanding job.
Yeah. So great job. Definitely.
Right down to the lettering and everything. That's just
man, look, she's fantastic. Well, with fonts and things like that, she knows what she's doing. And she's doing a jet. Actually, we've got a guy, his name's Brian. He's just painted his 90mm F-16 in the flanker color Arctic camo, which is the blues and the grays, which is really pretty. And he has commissioned all the decals from Tara. He's commissioned the stencils like we sent you for the FAA numbers for his yeah, so we're getting that done for him. We've got a couple of people we're doing some other jobs for right now, but Yeah, it's a great thing. And like I said, man, between, what I do, what Tara does, what Dustin's doing for Rich Baker, the RC Informer, plus Gooniac, I mean, man, we're all very blessed to have the great support of the community. We were on the Boozers channel the other night, Dustin and I. We had a great show, and I appreciate Wesley letting us be on. Cody was on Dustin and I's show a week or so ago with the case. That was great. And we're going to try to have special guest appearances coming on at least once a week with Dustin and I. We got some things lined up, so you guys wait for that as well. Looking forward to it. But most of all, it's all about the appreciation of all the guys that are here. And I see Northeast FPV is here. We're coming after you guys. Right here. Yes, right here.
Great bunch of guys. Great cinematography.
Yes, they are awesome videos, man. Their videos, Skip, if you haven't checked out Northeast FPV, it is some of the best video footage you will ever see, man. They are award-winning. Their captures, their in-flight video with Simon and the drone chasing the jets on the beach of all places.
Oh yeah, that's got to be great.
Yeah, check it out.
I would kill or die for a cameraman or somebody a good guy with a chase drone.
Oh man, look, Simon is awesome for Northeast FPV, and these guys are great pilots. And it doesn't hurt a bit if they fly off an ocean.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Northeast FPV, I want to write that
1,000 subs too. So thanks, guys.
He just crossed. Yeah, thanks everybody for helping them get over that little hump. Now it's always been the sky's the limit, but now it's really the rubber meets the road, and these guys finally are able to, they're able to I guess get super chats now or help with their channel, because guys, I don't know of anybody else that puts out the cinematography that these guys do. I mean, I just don't. No, and it's pretty cool. I mean,
their videos are spectacular.
Yeah, it's downright it's just damn cool. There's no other words to describe it.
There's a guy out there that has very, very good drone camera. He goes all over the world and takes some beautiful shots, beautiful footage. Majestic FPV.
Okay.
And
definitely
in fact,
check them out.
A friend of his is who got me kind of into the YouTube thing. What started me on YouTube was that jerk that caught me flying in a public area where I had no problem flying. Cops even said it was okay. Said I couldn't fly there, that my 2.4 gigahertz radio was going to crash his buddy's plane, his $4,000 plane, a mile and a half away.
Oh man!
I tried as hard as I could be to be nice to that guy, and I finally told him, I said, "Listen, this is being recorded." He's like, "I don't give a f." Okay, you've been informed.
Right on. Yeah. So Shadow mentioned that we need to get Dave's RC over to 1,000, and I do remember Dave. Well, what was he saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. About what was it, like a $500 jet? Once he gets over 1,000?
Yeah, for Motion RC, yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's close. He's got like 120, I think, to go on now.
No, he's at like 9. No, what is he at 930, something like that? He's close.
He's real close.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I've been sending over as many as I can his way. Your way too. I hope you've gotten a few.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Man, I mean, look, we all help each other. I mean, it's a great community. You can't ask for a better group of guys that support each other, and we all try to send everybody each other's way, man. I mean, and that's why I say again, as I was saying with Northeast, and I hate to go on about these guys because they are awesome, but if you don't watch their videos and listen to the music in their videos, and if you're not inspired to do better. I mean, I look at it and I go, wow, my mess don't look nothing compared to these guys, and they're just their music, they're the whole feel of their videos. Until you watch it, words can't put it into description. So definitely check them out, guys. Keep showing them the love. They're doing some live stuff now. They did a live the other day, just kind of popped up. I missed it live, but I went back and watched it. So check them out, guys, and show the love. Stay with them and watch their stuff. Get in their live streams.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Victor. Victor just came in, but he's having dinner
Victor
with the
Shepard's?
wife. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Well, he just had an incident.
Remember, guys, I'm flying blind here, so I don't have my phone going. I don't know who's in the house.
Oh well,
I'm-
you can look up your phone. Just turn the volume down, but you can you can have the,
what's
the,
up,
the
Jackson?
chat
How
rolling
you
for
doing,
you.
buddy?
No, it's not that. It's my phone. It's just
Oh, I got you. I
not
got you.
behaving.
But
We got Jackson RC Aviation in the house as well tonight.
Mhm.
Just Plain Crazy, George Watts, Craig Bevan, again, Northeast FTV, Shadow Ops.
Shadow Ops, Eric, right?
yeah, yeah.
I love it. Life Terrans out. Ethan RC,
How's
and
it
don't
going,
forget
guys?
tomorrow night, guys. Ethan RC comes on tomorrow night.
At 8.
Yes, before GB Linden
Mm-hmm.
Hump Day. So definitely tune in to Ethan RC. See what he's got coming your way, guys. We got Dave Marshall. Dave Marshall was on last night with Gooniac. So yeah, we've got some good stuff. Pilot Ryan's in the house. Just Rough, Randy. Hello.
Brandon, Pilot Ryan.
That's right. Bunch of great guys, man. Kenny, is Kenny here? Because I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Kenny's here, but I mean, you talking about great
Yeah.
guys. I mean, are we talking about Pilot Ryan? We talking about him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Jeez. Nah, I'm kidding.
Pilot Ryan Media, guys. Get yours today. Don't forget.
Hey! If you go to Pilot Ryan's link and you buy anything, just make sure you tell them that Raven
Yes.
Rock and Jeff Cousin RC sent you.
That's it. That's right. Yes.
Jeff, I just caught up in your screen up there. You got the Flight Club Round 8.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Why
sir.
she got you ripped up and hooked up in like a studio?
Dude, she is
Hey,
awesome.
man.
She is very
I
talented.
gotta keep it real, you know. Hey, I watched Pilot Ryan. I learned. I watched the Boozers, and I learned. I see what these people are doing, man. And the other night when Dustin and I were on their show, I'm watching Lori over here working the computer and clicking on this and
Yeah.
dragging that. I mean, yeah, they're awesome, and I mean that's how you learn is doing it, you know. And to think, Skip, you said your stuff wouldn't work tonight, and here you are, man, and you're looking good. See?
Well, I started working
you
on
got
it
it
about
done, man.
1:30 this afternoon. I
Yeah,
finally
but
figured it
Dustin
out.
got you going, man. I told you, Dustin's the man. You know? Yeah.
Surprised it's working this long. It was
Look,
freezing up.
It's
in
like
Dustin
it's
before.
like I told you. It's like I told you guys before the show started. Like, look, you click enough buttons and you click them in a certain amount of order, you're bound to get lucky. And I just happen to get lucky.
You got lucky.
Oh, look, hey, we got Captain Photon in the house.
Oh,
Uh,
buddy, how's it
Hey,
going, man?
That's Ricky the Photon Dexter.
Yes, Ricky.
Yes,
Alias,
absolutely.
yeah.
He is in the house. That's right. That's right. What's up, buddy? Yes, sir. Hey, man, we're glad to have all you guys here. We're just having a good time.
How you doing out there, buddy?
That's right. And we've got the Godfather here going on, Mr. Skip Build RC tonight.
Oh, what am I? OG?
Yes, OG. That's
Old
right.
gangsta. Old
Look,
games.
you're gonna have to put you have to put on one of your planes, man.
Right.
That's right.
What you're talking about? Jumping back on Victor, he had a little mishap with his Elf 22, and I saw him on the book of face. He got his new fuse in, so I hope he's back in the skies with that soon. George Watts looks like he got a Cortex in his HSD Viper turbine jet today. So
Yeah.
George, I guess you're going old turbine, some real power there. After he put in his F-16, he's like he had to. It's just an easy install, but
Everybody
awesome.
knows it's O'Doul's, guys.
well,
Skip doing a plug.
well, it's like the Heineken commercial, right? Where it's got the guy
Yeah.
where he's pulled over, so to speak, and
Yeah.
he's like non-alcoholic, and the officer points like no
Sponsored
parking.
by O'Doul's.
That's right.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! Oh my goodness! So
You still get carded. They still have to call a 21 when I ring the stuff up, even though it doesn't have any booze in it.
Huh.
You
Oh,
got to
really?
be you got to be at least 19 or something, or 21 in Illinois to sell it.
Yeah.
wow,
Twenty-
that's-
GB, I saw. Hey GB, I saw you and John's video on Hobby King Live today, man. Great job. That looked really nice. Of course, your filming is always on point, and John's flying with the big Cub was really nice, man. That was a good looking plane and a good looking video. So tell John he should be in the show because we're talking about him right now.
Hey, since I can't read anything, if anybody has any questions for me, you just have to relay them to me, okay?
Oh, definitely, man.
Absolutely. So does anybody have any questions for Mr. OG Skippy here? I mean, when I say Skippy, I'm talking about Skip, not me. I'm not an OG.
Lord.
Oh man. But a turbine. There was those guys in my field when I first got exposed to a turbine, and
I get sweaty when I see those things.
I mean, it's unreal, and I think of it from like a machining standpoint and like manufacturing of it. And I don't know if many of you guys know this, but you can make a jet engine out of a old turbo if you have one. And my buddy has got it's a rather large turbo off of a semi truck. He told me I could have it, not that I need any more projects. But I mean, it's just a stationary jet engine, but still, it's like it's cool. It's cool. But anyhow, he was at
turbocharger, just a regular turbocharger.
Yeah, you take a turbocharger, right?
You can take your turbocharger off one of the old Mazdas or something like that and convert it into a jet for a plane.
Well, not for a plane, just to make like a static display of a jet engine. Yeah, you'll use like a leaf blower to get it spooled up, and then you hit the igniters and get the combustion going. But no, I remember the first time I saw it, a turbine jet at our field, and me not knowing, like, look, guys, I'm still green behind the ears, still wet behind the ears when it comes to this hobby. So I mean, I didn't know. I was kind of watching, like, man, you got some speed going, like, you know, what throttle are you at? And he goes, oh, I'm like at 25%. I'm like, this thing is hauling butt. And I was like, you still got 75% to go? Like, holy cow. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you should have been out here last year because our field was on a farm, and I guess he had a brownout. Something happened where he didn't really have full control. He had some intermediate control, so signal loss, brownout, you know, we don't know. His plane went in, hit the road, then hit the yard that's adjacent to the to the field, or as you're taking off, and hit this woman's bush, caught the bush on fire. And so all the guys, they get in their trucks and they haul butt over to this girl's house because it's a good like 300 yards away, and they're like pulling her reels and putting it out. She comes out, she's an old little lady, they said, and she was just like, Lord knows, I was wondering what that sound was. She's like, oh, and you burnt my bush. Oh, Lord. And she's like, don't worry, we'll replace you. She goes, oh, that's okay, Suge. I didn't like that bush anyway. I'm like, man, that's been awesome to see. But
hey, FPV's got a question for you, Skip. They want to know what's your favorite plane and why. And Guniak wants to know when you're going to fly your E-flite F-18.
All right, I have to go to the bathroom real quick, and when I come back, I'm going to have good answers for both of those.
Oh man, and GB with his grape juice, his adult grape juice.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so Ryan says he's getting the HSD T33. That's going to be nice, Ryan. That sounds like a big deal, man. When are you going to drop that one, buddy? I'm guessing it'll be on a Thursday.
Damn it, Dave. Hey, Mark, he hit a woman's bush with an airplane because you walked the next day.
Only Dave would ask that question.
And you guys know I ain't got no damn filter. So if you text it, I'll say it.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Oh, hey, man, that's so funny.
This is what it is. That's right.
Yeah, let me get a link for Mr. Skip here. 1 second, my friends.
Yeah, so that T33 is 12S. So when are you going to be showing that one, man? Will that come out on a Saturday night show or a Thursday drop? What are your plans on that one there, Ryan?
I'm back, guys.
Fantastic. Oh wow, Skip! I didn't realize you have 530 subs. That's awesome, my friend.
Man, Skip. Look, come on. Now.
I know he's been around for a while, but I don't pay attention to people's subscribers. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy.
You know what took doing it, to be honest with you, and my secret to whatever success I was able to come up with on my own. Now, granted, I was green behind the ears, greener than green gets, and not tech savvy. So barely working through this stuff, but playing around with it after a little while, it got kind of interesting. And I started looking at a lot of other popular channels. Mm-hmm. And stuff, and I started catching really the reasons why their channels are so popular. And it's mostly because, think about yourself as the general public. If you enjoy watching something, really wholeheartedly like watching something, the content, it's not stupid, it's not out of line, it's accurate, it's concise and to the point, it's raw. That's the kind of stuff I like to watch. So if I like to watch that, there's got to be a ton of people like me that like to watch that too. And you like to see things that are new all the time. And I figured, well, without all the knowledge that I need that all these guys have, the best thing I can do is, well, let's see, I just quit drinking. So I've got all this extra money to spend, so I just start buying new models. I'm going to start buying planes. I'll get good at one, and then I'll fly another one. I'll get by that one, I'll fly another one, and so on and so forth. And before I knew it, I was flying so many, that I ended up with just a ton of them. Getting back to your question, my favorite plane and why?
Yep.
That's a real tough question to actually answer because, as you know, as just about any of you guys out there probably know, your favorite plane might be the one that you're just actually flying at the time. I have a lot of favorite planes. My Tiger Cat is one of my favorites. The F-86 is a favorite. My Timber is one of my go-to planes. That new little Sport Cub, or that little Carbon Cub that just recently I acquired through a crash of Crash Test Boys. That's kind of one of my little favorites. I like planes that I can fly in anything and not worry about it if something does happen. Mm-hmm. So that's nice. So you don't mind taking it out in 17, 18 mile an hour winds. Right. But see me taking my AL-37 out there and, until it's a nice, calm, sweet day. But I've got a ton of favorite airplanes. That AL-37 is going to be one of my favorites. I feel it. The Su-30, the F-18 E-flights. I really love the E-flight F-70 or F-16, 70 millimeter. That one really got me turned on to the jets a little bit. Even more so with that Inrunner. Just sounded so much better, and I got more speed out of it than I did the Freewing stock.
Okay.
You notice I built the Freewing up. I got the Dr. Mad Thrust, all metal. Even the blade is all metal blade. Not legal, but man, that thing goes like a rape tape. It's twice as fast as anything I've got.
That's awesome. So Guniak was asking, when are you going to fly your E-flight F-18?
As soon as the winds die down below 12 or 15.
Well, how many planes do you have to maiden right now, Skip? What are you thinking?
Well, we're just in this office alone. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 planes in this office out of 10 that I haven't flown. The ratio is not as bad in the rest of the house. I've flown more than I've got. Let's put it that way. Or I've flown more than half of what I've got. I've flown more like probably 3/4, but I've probably got a good 10 maidens. That planes, and then I've acquired a few other planes, like 2 planes from Banggood, 2 planes a guy just gave me. Saw my show. He lives over in Fox Lake, town close by, and he offered.
You just got a sponsorship from Banggood, right?
And and they're sending me planes. So it's like, okay, I stopped buying planes, but I've gotten 5 more.
That's great, man. Well, that's congratulations on that, man. That's a big deal in itself.
I don't mind it a bit. And I guess this took it took exposure. And what took me to get all those subscriptions really was just constantly being out there. Every day. I was making a video every day for a while.
Yeah.
Whatever I could come up with, anything idea. Some of my easiest, simplest, no-brainer videos took 5 minutes to do. turned out to be about one of my most popular videos, and that's your ESC won't arm. Try this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was just a simple trick I had learned from some guy talking to some guy in a hobby shop, and I tried it and it worked. I'm like, you know what? I wonder how many other people don't know that.
Well, and it's just like your videos on how to calibrate ESCs and things. A lot of guys, that can relate to you. A lot of people don't know how to calibrate an ESC, and that's something that needs to be done on every plane you set up.
Yeah, well, a lot of things, and the pros show all the good stuff, all the good flights, all the everything. My channel, I focus as being a beginner, being not a professional pilot, but trying to do the best I can. I think I build them professionally because Lord knows I've got enough experience in building and repairing now. But I've learned so much through building them. And where was I going with this? Help me out, Jeff.
Well, basically, you're talking about, how the bigger guys a lot of times show the good stuff, and you're showing more of the stuff for the beginner pilot.
Right.
In other
words, yeah, and my point being was that they may talk about, use terminology that, say, the layman doesn't really know. I mean, I can remember when I first started off hearing things like a simple word like a trunnion. What the hell is a trunnion? Okay, what the hell is a trunnion? I had to figure out what a trunnion was. And I thought that little thing sticking out the front of the plane was an antenna. Well, it's a pitot tube.
Yeah.
Pitot. How do you spell it? I knew nothing. I knew nothing. Nothing about planes. And I think funny part about it is I loved planes since I was a kid. I had little jet plastic airplanes, and I do my little flying and stuff like that. Crash them in midair. That was always cool. I'd do it for real. But I walk away from every crash. It's nice.
Well, and that's the thing too. You've shown your simulator on your channel a lot, and I think you have the Phoenix. The Real Flight 9 is a big deal now because the guys can fly together. They're flying together on Dave Marshall's show, and the Mary Boozers are doing that as well. And the simulators help us all, especially people just starting out. Just being able to take off and land a plane is a big deal, and that really helps us.
A simulator, I had already been flying.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about simulators yet. I had already been flying and crashing and rebuilding, so I was already flying when I first got the simulator. Right. And darn, man, there was only a few planes that I could fly in that simulator. It's like, wow, I'm really not that good at all. Mm-hmm. And now there's not a plane on either Phoenix, RF-8. I haven't got RF-9, but there's not a plane that I haven't flown. I haven't flown drones. I can't keep the drones without the collective pitch helicopters.
Well, that's like the guy that he's getting my wife to make the decals for his F-16 flanker. He also is big into helicopters. He's got a beautiful Bell helicopter. It's massive. Mm-hmm. And he was asking me if I flew helicopters. And, I would love to get into the Roban helicopters that Motion RC is selling right now. They're beautiful, man. I love the scale detail. But I'm not stupid either, and I don't have the experience. And I'm not going to crash something that costs that kind of money. And so I don't go there. I stick with the airplanes, and I would love to get into it, though. I think that would be great.
I'd be in so much trouble if I'd have gotten good at helicopters first. I started with drones, and I was gravitating towards helicopters until I saw the airplanes.
Right.
And I actually bought a helicopter, but it's a fixed pitch. It's got the fly bar, it's a coaxial. I think it's about as easy as it gets, right? And I had to doctor that up just to get it to fly around. And I had a gas with it, and I thought I really wanted to go with the collective pitch. So I started practicing on the simulator with collective pitch. And when I finally started to get the hang of it a little bit, my buddy Mike called, one of the crash test boys, says, "We're going flying. You want to join us?" Sure. So I put it down, went out and flew, and doggone if it didn't screw around with me with the controls when I was trying to fly a plane. It was like, hey, I had a problem from the helicopter to the airplane. Some people can do that. I can do this, I I can do it backwards. I can do all those different kind of things. I'm totally ambidextrous, but even up here in my corpus callosum, I can get things to work. I'm dyslexic. I can read frontward to backward, backward to front. I can read reversed writing. I should have been a lawyer, but
Oh man.
Well, Dustin, have you ever flown any helicopters? Have you been into that any?
I bought.
Yes.
I got a wild hair at my butt and bought a blade. And yeah, so my dad was egging me on. He's like, "You need to get a helicopter." So I bought a helicopter, and he's like, "Oh, okay. So you're gonna fly it? Sure." So I flew it, and he goes, $20. You'll crash it first takeoff, whatever. So I landed on top of his golf cart and said, "Pay up, sucker." So I got $20 out of it. But then I realized, like, helicopters really weren't my thing. Like, I love them. They're cool. They're complicated. Not complicated. They're complex. They're a complex piece of machinery. So you have a lot of adjusting, a lot of mapping into the radio. And I was just like, it's really not for me, because I knew if I got into it, the next purchase is going to be something like a Robad, like Apache or a Blackhawk.
Yeah.
Or like
Now
a
you talk-
Kawa, like something like that. And I'm just like, no, because when they break, they break.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the guy told me, get out your credit card. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Get out that plastic, homie, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
But we got Lee Davison in the house and 200 Driver. Thank you guys for coming in. But we're going to kind of switch gears here and going to show some video of Skip. This is the let me set this up real quick here.
what are you doing? I'm blind.
You're gonna have to watch it later. No, so
Stay
this
tuned.
is
Stay tuned.
I just, it's funny. I just found the record button option on Skype. I could have been recording this whole show.
This is like a
fact-
roast, man. Okay.
In fact, I wish I'd have done that, because then I could have recorded it and put it on my channel, and you get double the views. You get all my people.
Yeah.
yeah. So this is your T28. That's all. It's a Carbon Z that's all dolled up, and just to kind of show, like the scale fidelity to it, but like all the modifications you did to it.
Gear's not coming down, guys.
And this was when you had like the issue about the gear coming down, and I remember you solved it because you brought the plane down in one piece. But like this is just gorgeous.
Yeah, that was like one of my first major deals. It was the biggest plane, most expensive plane I'd bought, besides the F-15 free wing.
Mm-hmm.
But it flew so well when I maidened it that it was like, well, I might want to fly this at later hours when the wind dies down, and it didn't have any lights on it, so I figured I'd put some on there. And I saw those Hobby Kings with like 3-watt high power, super bright, and I flew the thing and ended up maiden the thing, doing a maiden, half of it in subdued light, and then half pretty much in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll straighten out the.
But like, look at this. This is too cool. And then like all the kids come up and they're like asking them questions.
I separated the lights and stuff on the fronter in the cowl. I've got red LEDs on the inside facing out around the cowl so that the cowl lights up, but I didn't want the red light coming through by the engine or the motor area, the shaft. And I used a toilet paper roll and put it around the motor shaft, and that's what I had the red LEDs around. And then the inside of that cardboard thing, which I actually opened up and made it bigger to fit in there, so I could put blue LEDs in there. So that showed the blue inside and the red on the outside. And then the white LED strip lights all the way through the tail for the inside.
I love the ingenuity, Skip. That's what I love about you, man. It's awesome, buddy.
Yeah, and all the kids, because they're playing soccer, they come over and they're all looking at it. And I'm like, what's so cool?
I wasn't happy with the sound at first. I first put it in there with just the
Looks like I drew some
just
attention
the
here.
Mr. RC sound, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And with the speaker that they gave you, it just wasn't enough. So I ordered the subwoofer for it. And even those two, it still just wasn't quite there. You know, it sounded cool. So I ordered the amplifier and 2 more speakers. And now I've got that with 3 regular speakers and a subwoofer and an amplifier. And that thing is loud as it can be. I mean, it's like real. It sounds incredibly loud.
I just love there's a lot of things I love about it, but I just looking at it here, I love the glow, and I love how you put the LEDs in the landing gear, the main landing gear. That was pretty cool.
I can see what he's showing on your screen up here. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's. Let me move this camera up a little bit for you can see better. There you go.
I can see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a picture in a picture.
Rustin, you're gonna have to teach me how you're doing all this and getting this on YouTube and doing it through Skype and stuff, because this is neat. I was told that collaborations were going to be our best chance at getting subs and a lot more people interested in us, especially if we start putting some great minds together. I think we can come up with some cool stuff.
Well, man, there's a lot of great minds.
Even right from here, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, even Cody, he's mentioned all this and how it looks great. A lot of the guys are commenting about how well it looks and presents in the air. But man, that's just awesome. So guys that are here with us still, I know we're kind of going over. Typically, we try to do like an hour. I know we're kind of going over, but we got Skip here. So in the comments, what is your favorite part of flying? Do you just like flying in the air? Is it the takeoff? Is it the landing? I love the landings because that's where it starts to get real technical. I'm a very technical, like, oriented guy, and that's really what I love. So kind of jump in here to some other people's.
I have to go with you on that. You know, you can have a great takeoff and enjoy it. You can have a wonderful, awesome flight, but if the landing isn't right, it ruins the whole flight.
Yeah.
And if you land it and it's just not quite right, and you know you got enough battery, you'll take off and you'll go around and do it again, or at least you'll try it.
Right.
I failed on that attempt a couple of times, but most of the time I get lucky with that. And then, get a good landing, and now it's a good flight. I'm happy. I can go home with that.
Right.
So I have to say the landing is the most important part.
Well, in your landings, again, you've got to contend with wind, especially if you got a head or a tail. You've got to deal with crosswinds. And even on a super calm day, a good flying plane is going to land different than it does on a windier day. Also, if you have thermals coming off the ground in the morning, from the day warming up, it can be totally different than landing that plane in the afternoon with flaps or whatever. I mean, the day can change. And then when you've got density altitude in the summer days, when you've got humidity and thick air, all that can change how a jet performs and lands and flies and, the whole 9 yards, what your batteries do.
It's all about getting used to whatever you're flying. I fly one thing and then I go to another plane, I fly that, but I never get enough good experience with one unless I stay with it for a while.
Right.
If I stay with it too long and I make too many videos, I lose attention, I lose subscribers. So I may fly a lot more than I show, but I show every plane that I do fly that hasn't been shown.
Mm-hmm.
Good showing the same plane over and over again, like I've been doing, like I've done in the past. I want to start doing less of that, maybe a few flights. It's like the Carbon Cub that I put back together. Okay, I've flown it a bunch of times now. You guys have seen enough of that. It's time to get something else out that I haven't flown and get good with that one. Because I've got the Carbon Cub kind of mastered.
Right.
So.
Yeah, typically what I'll do is I'll take like maybe three or four planes, like keep them like a constant rotation for a good bit, just to get good at it.
Because you got to get good at it in all those different conditions, like Jeff is talking about. One day flying the same plane to the next day is a whole different story sometimes.
That's right. Yep.
Yesterday's flight was just so beautiful and perfect and easy and so predictable. All of a sudden turned into a ride from hell.
Look
You
at
know,
this great
a white
rotation.
knuckle ride from hell, and your heart's beating out of your chest, and you can't breathe. You know, and you're like, "Thank God, I got it down." You know, in one piece, or you know.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
Ray was saying too a while ago, about flying scale. I love to fly scale. I'm not out there to try to yank and bank. I mean, I love to fly scale and make a plane look real taking off, real in flight, and real landing, especially on approach and things like that. And yeah, for me, that is everything. Is when I'm in flight, making it look as real and believable as possible, so that when it's on a video, people actually watch a video and go, wow, is that a real plane or is it a fake plane?
Right.
Yeah.
My F-86 got that impression. There were a couple of flyers out there that didn't know us. One guy, and he had I forget where he's from, Bulgaria or something like that, but he had a real strong accent, and he stopped flying. He goes, "Is that a real jet?" It sounded so cool, the F-86 Sabre.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
so
just
we
like,
got
it's just like with Northeast, what we're talking about in the chat right now. Your music sets the tone, and you can show that flight with rock and roll, and it's great. You take that same flight and put a serene, peaceful music to that flight, and it takes you to a different place, and it's the same flight. So we create a feel with our videos, man. I mean, and it's all what you put with it and how you present it,
I like the YouTube video. Adding music to YouTube videos was easier until they screwed it all up.
right.
I can't even use their music that's free to download now anymore because it won't allow me to put it into my video where I want to or how I want to.
Yeah, so we got GB Linden's. This was his maiden. So this was kind of a while back. Well, I'll say because me and him are good friends, and Jeff, you probably had seen this already.
Yes.
So we got a sneak peek at this, and the thing here with the L-39 is he was flying with 4,000, and with that L-39, it wants to fly. It's
Yeah.
It's kind of like a high wing Cub, and how it wants to stay aloft in the air. It flies just so well. It wants to be airborne.
It was like a
And,
trainer jet, really.
Yeah, I mean it really is. But you can
crashed it right off the bat, but it flew so beautiful, so easy,
Right.
so predictable right off the bat. That's why I did the turns with it, the loop, and and then I bumped the throttle and couldn't understand why I couldn't come out of the loop and continue on with the flying. Well, the throttle was dead. Plus, I'm trying to hit that, recovery switch. Well, it recovered all right. It went flat down.
But yeah, he realized because he hit me up. I remember talking to him about it. I was like, man, you gotta fly it with 5,000s. If not, just like the F-22 from Free Wing, you've got to start taking power away. Before the base turn, like you've got to really slow down because they want to stay in the air. And kind of just going on here is, of course, I try to skip it 15 seconds. It takes 15 seconds to get it in. So he comes in, goes out longer before the base turn, already at a lower altitude, rolling off the throttle, and it's a beautiful landing. Hey, it's a maiden, right? It's not going to be perfect. Yeah, it comes in kind of hard, but everything else sets up, and he's learning, and that's the hobby in itself. You're always learning. If you don't walk away at the end of the day and you haven't learned something, you haven't flown enough, or you haven't had a hiccup. You haven't done something. You haven't done something right.
Well, and
And like
Dustin,
Jeff
it's
was
like
saying,
this. It's like this for me, Dustin. Kudos to GB as well, because he is flying off of asphalt, man, and grass is a lot more forgiving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd love to take off of asphalt or geotech, but give me my grass to land on any day, man.
Right.
I disagree with that. I just seen take off on asphalt or geotech and land on geotech.
Really?
Yeah, I really, really would. But without any obstacles like basketball hoops and cars and people standing around.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much, how many gear problems, front gear problems I get. Could be a beautiful landing. I had that super high-speed F-16 on a maiden flight, and the landing should have been just perfect. I flared it. It came down, touched back wheels first. As soon as the back wheels touched that turf, bam! It came down, flipped the thing over, tore off the front gear, and did some damage to the back end.
I've got to say,
on a flat surface, that'd been an awesome landing.
I've got to say this, Skip, on my behalf, and I'm very fortunate that, and Dustin will tell you, our grass field is beautiful. I mean, it's as smooth as a fairway in a golf course.
It's pretty, but it ain't. It's pretty, but it's not as pretty as Jeff is.
Shut up.
That's the reason. That's the biggest reason I left the field.
Look at him. He started to turn red right now.
It's not asphalt by any means, but it is a awesome. We're very fortunate to have what we have, and so we don't have bumpy and all this. So for me, I like the grass because it helps to slow down the jet or the plane. It's not bumpy. Whereas I've heard a lot of bad things about people landing on asphalt or geotech because the plane wants to tend to maybe kick sideways or slide or whatever. You roll out a lot further, so you got to be careful.
Grass is a lot more forgiving. I put the brakes on for you.
Yeah, and that's
going in a straight
line. Yeah, that's like with you on your your F-16, I believe, your E-Flight. You put the brakes on it with the spacers you put on the wheels or something, and I thought that was really a cool idea because it helped to slow it down when you came in for a landing because you said that thing would roll out like crazy.
Yeah, it almost rolled out on the maiden flight. It almost rolled out into the traffic.
Right.
It was like, oh gosh, I thought I was going to have to ditch it. Not cars. So I took it home and I put the felt pads in between the wheels and pinched it real tight. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty stiff. And then you put just a little bit of alcohol because it evaporates right away. Well, it makes it lubricate enough to roll for taking off. But as you're flying, it dries out. So when you land, you got your brakes.
Oh, see, now that's pretty smart, man. Pretty smart. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, here we got Deuces Wild with his free wing, and Jeff, you'll appreciate this because it's the Arctic camo. This is free wing 70, high horsepower.
Yes,
doing doing his deal here.
Love the job you did on that, Jeff. The white gear on that plane is the reason I bought the E-Flight F-18. Do you know that?
But look at this beautiful landing. Like he comes in, realizes that hey, he's coming in a little bit too fast, brings the nose up. Yeah, he goes in and rides that wingtip just on the left side a little bit. But hey, I've done it with my E-Flight many times. It's just a stance of having an F-16. That doesn't have a wide stance. The front nose gear and the mains are close together. But still, it's a beautiful jet, fun jet to have.
Well, you could tell too that he had a little bit of a crosswind there. Mm-hmm. But Deuces flies the mud out of that jet, man. That is an awesome jet. And I would love to try that 70 millimeter because I think I would love flying it. But it is a beautiful, beautiful jet. I love it.
The only thing that I could see that could make this, just to kind of back this up, like let's look at this right here. We've got a dark scheme jet in a cloudy, darkest day, right?
Yeah.
What would have been cool is if he had Ray's Afterburner in this, because this is like this would show up.
Yeah.
So well, but just
that is a sweet jet, man. I love it, and I've heard everybody that flies,
In response to Ray, I do sorry, wrong pipe.
That's how the Corona starts, man.
You haven't messed with any bats, have you, Skip?
No, we've been pretty much under house arrest. We're not at the field and stuff now. Stay away from the school. Stay off the country. The main grounds. Not even supposed to go to the park. What a crap. I was going to say something. I'm sorry. Went down the wrong pipe. I hate when that happens.
I tell you, man, talking about something that floats. This jet right here, this MiG-17, which does have the fiery booty. It is a great flying jet, man. But you talk about a floater. This thing loves to float, man. I mean, and it just you got to bleed up. You were talking about Dustin a while ago, talking about pulling back on power before you ever turn on base.
Yeah,
that's what you. Yeah,
Times.
I've got landing flaps out and air brake on this MiG, and you're pulling back power on before you ever turn to go to final base. You are pulling back on power, so as you come around and you start heading in, you're almost dead stick. Then you can add in a little power. That's a great flying jet there, guys. I'm telling you, man, I love it.
Well, and then next up,
Jeff was talking about the different conditions, and and Justin was talking about the way he likes to land and stuff like that. And that changes from day to day too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Same plane, because on one day if it's calm, you may want to take a very high stance and cut power and let it, catch the flight line.
Right.
Let's in. But on a windy day, you may not want to come down. You have to fly that sucker down to the ground.
oh yeah, and then next up is Jeff with his. I love the excuse me, the flight line. Tiger
Jeff,
Cat.
our kids, by the way, I got to give him a kiss on the top of his head.
Oh, you need to stop. Crazy.
Don't worry, Tara. I got all the right parts and all the right things. They all work for the right reasons too.
You're crazy.
Not like that.
Lord.
This
But you're kind of cute. Now, who are we watching here, Dustin?
This is Jeff. This is Jeff
Oh, that's
landing.
Jeff.
Yeah, this is Jeff landing his
You
Tiger
rock.
Cat. He rocks it.
This Tiger Cat's awesome, Skip. You know that. This is a great.
This is the flight I watched the other day. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's I love that plane. You were the one that commented to me that was going to be one of my favorites. I think.
Yes. Yes.
You were right about that. You were definitely right about that. I've got the sound system in that one too.
Oh man, see, I want to do that, man. I gotta do that.
Tell you what, the speakers fit right up under the nacelles, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right inside the nacelles, the wheels close up and everything. The doors close, and the speakers are in there.
Oh,
Great.
So, as people can see, like when Jeff talks about how his field is so nice, it's because it's an actual runway. And yes, it is very, very nice. The only thing is you may run into like a small anthill like every so often, and when you're landing, they may jump out in front of you. But it's very rare. It's very rare.
It's not usually anthills, it's molehill or holes.
Yeah.
Be going along just fine, and the whole front end of the plane disappears, hits the ground. It's like,
well, once he sprays the field for fire ants, we won't have that problem anymore either. And he does spray for fire ants as well.
Oh yeah.
well, that's why I left the field I was flying at. First off, they had it set up north to south, which is really the wrong way to set up a flying field. Uphill to downhill, and the field, they said they rolled it. They were so proud of their grass, but man, you could walk out there and be walking along, all of a sudden step in a pothole.
Oh wow.
I lost the front gear of my Tiger Cat there and one of the gear doors. It was a beautiful flight for that demonstration for the Wounded Warrior veterans and stuff like that we were doing. And it was a nice flight, nice landing till it got down to the end and bonk. It's that pothole and
Airplane, didn't you?
Oh wow.
it didn't hurt the plane, but it busted a prop and it messed up the gear, so I had to fix that.
That's the flight line, Kenny.
Kenny.
One from Motion RC, man.
But since that happened, I went ahead and put the upgraded shocks on it. That actually does make it nice.
Yeah, and I do have the upgraded rear suspension on mine. I didn't the front, I just did the rear, and been very pleased with that. Not had any problems. But I can fly this plane with 20-mile-an-hour winds, a crosswind, whatever, and it doesn't mind it a bit. It's a great plane.
Mm-hmm.
For field purposes, though, I really recommend a front gear for it, just because it's a little bit longer of a front gear, and there's not like a brace like you'd see something behind like a T-45 or something like that, an F-18, to help with that impact. But
But last but not least,
what
we've
did mine-
got the
but since I put the compression gear up on the front too, all the way around, I haven't had a problem with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to play this one up. So this is Steve Hodges' road band Apache, and
Oh yeah.
this is one where in this video I just wanted to get because he's flying it around. I think this is the first time where he got it first built, not as maiden. Oh, it's Flight 4 it says in the title. If I read the title, but this now. Where he has progressed to this is just absolutely fantastic.
That's a beautiful helicopter, man.
It is. It absolutely is. And like when he starts flying around, like especially in the backdrop here to the left with all the hills and the vegetation and trees and stuff, it looks so real, so real. Because later on he adds the radar dome. And then I designed the radar dome and sent him the CAD files for that. So he 3D printed him one there.
That's cool. Did he just drop something, or is that air effect, wind effect, ground effect?
Just ground effect, probably.
That was cool.
And then he's got the elevator that moves.
And Dustin, you actually made a hinge for this particular helicopter, didn't you?
Yeah, I made the hinge for the rear elevator, and then designed the radar dome. And since the radar dome at that point was gonna be fixed to the head or the rotating head, I didn't want to put too much detail because I didn't know how off balance it would be, and I didn't want to put any more vibration than it needs to be.
Right.
In there. But
Yeah.
But it's just so daggone cool. Let's
Yeah,
see
that's
if
cool.
if I can get it, because he has. Here you go. Here's the hinge of it.
Man, it's real. Gosh, that looks real.
Throttle, collective, through a mix, and
That is cool.
all because of this little hinge right
Good flight with the Super Scorpion there, Dave's RC.
here. Raven Rock Machining.
Yeah, man. I tuned into
Just-
that the day at work. I had like 30 seconds of like downtime. Okay, really like 5 minutes, and that was on my my
You
playlist.
guys ever
to
see
watch.
that video of the? Do you guys ever see the video of that helicopter from the manager from Ocean RC that crashed, exploded and missed it midair?
What? No,
Yeah.
I have not.
I have to dig that up. It's
Oh, here's-
midair explosion. I forget what it was.
The new modification.
450 size helicopter, I think. Midair explosion. He was doing a TikTok, and the tail did something anyway. Thing just exploded.
Oh, like when I came out of balance or something, just put the vibration in it and just popped it.
yeah,
maybe.
it caught
I have
the
no
tail.
idea.
Yeah, the main rotor caught the tail. and
Dustin, was that the hinge on the elevator you were just showing that you did?
Yes, sir. And then up now is
Oh,
is the radar dome that and this is just like kind of plain Jane again. It was just like get the shape of it.
Test.
He has since made it where the rotor head in this one, as you can see, the rotors turn, but the radar dome stays fixed. And he and I and
that.
some other people have made some modifications to it.
Okay.
It's just basically that shaft is hollow,
Oh, so it's sliding around a shaft. Okay.
right inside of it. Yep.
I see. I see.
That looks nice, man. That looks very good.
That is pretty cool, though. That really is.
He is. Steve is
Talk about-
all
see, I love
about
scale.
some
I
daggone
love
scale fidelity.
love stuff.
So was that 3D printed, Dustin?
Yep. Yeah, so I designed it and then sent him the files,
Okay.
the 3D printer files. But here,
man.
Steve now has got the sound system in this thing.
Oh man. I didn't know they made sound systems for helicopters.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like
You
down
know what?
to the
To tell you
T.
the truth, you don't need them with those. They sound so darn real as it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the bigger.
That's what I was thinking. I can't imagine how they sound any better, but I haven't heard any different. So, you know.
I mean, when they take off, boom, you really hear that air move. they're
yeah.
incredible.
I remember when I was in kindergarten or first grade, we had a Black Hawk land. So we had the carpool line was a giant oval, and in that center of that oval was grass, and a Black Hawk landed there. And of course, the gentlemen were talking to us about flying and whatnot. But Steve repainted it. I forget what squadron and livery this is, but it's like an OD green with like a brown like camo pattern to it.
Okay.
But yeah, once he gets back in the back, I mean, this is just so cool. Because I kind of have a connection with it. When my dad was in the military, he was toward the end of his term, and so he was debating whether to get out or not because my mom at the time wanted him home, and he was in the army. I was in the army for 8 years, and he always wanted to go fly, and he had the chance to go to Apache school, but my mom prevailed in winning that battle, and he came home and then did four years in the National Guard. But this is Steve hovering here, but it's just so cool. I gotta give Steve massive props.
Now, was that at George's place at Tired Iron Aviation?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've seen him fly this particular helicopter with the 3D camera on it too, man. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. But yeah, his next project, he got bit by the submarine bug.
Yeah, I saw that.
He has a 3D printed submarine, and now he's got the Disney Nautilus that he's like rebuilding that he bought. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
There's some cool stuff being done out there with 3D printing now. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. But yeah, that's. You guys got anything to add? Because he's about to wrap it up. We've been on air for almost 2 hours, an hour and 45 minutes.
It's been a great show. Had a great crowd, man. I'm glad everybody's come out. We've had a really good time.
Mm-hmm. Snappers kept me about an hour past my bedtime.
You gotta start hanging with us more, Skip, buddy.
Yeah,
we've had a great time.
Oh, I can handle it.
Yeah.
I'm an old rocker.
Hey, man, we've had a great time hanging with you, buddy, and we just really appreciate you being on the show, and we love you, man, and keep on.
I love you too, guys. And remember, I'm maybe sober, but I'm not a saint.
Hey, hey, just keep doing what you do, man. We love watching you, and we all learn from you, man.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely.
I learned from you guys too. That's one hand washing the other is where I go to school from. That works for me.
Oh man!
For everybody out there, I watch your videos too, and I see good ideas and things that I haven't come up with, and adapt and try and I love playing like with this jet in the background here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to put a sound system in that, but I decided since I got up on the top that's the. Am I pointing this right? Okay, up on the top of the thing, right? There is trying to be like a weathercaster. I don't know over here, but up on the top there we have the intake for the refueling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's really a whistle that I've painted to make it look like a duck. Okay, so it's a whistle. Underneath, I've got 3 more whistles,
Right.
strategic places that actually look like the real airplane where they've got radar domes.
That's
So
cool.
they're painted to look like radar domes.
So
So
when you
between
fly it,
four
are they
whistles-
going to whistle when you fly it?
Yeah, they're going to whistle. The experiment I did with the F-16, E-flite F-16.
I remember that.
I've got whistles inside, 2 inside, and
Yeah,
you can hear them, but off throttle, you don't hear the whistle anymore. Off throttle with 2 whistles mounted on the outside as well. Off throttle, the thing comes through going
Mm-hmm.
like it should. Now, 4 whistles on an airliner coming in for a landing under low throttle, I'm not going to get a lot of whistles anyway, but with 4 whistles on it, it might sound a little bit more realistic coming in for a landing, not to mention flying with 4 whistles on it.
Yeah.
Hey, look, hey,
Okay.
and one other thing. Guniac is real close to 1,000 too, guys.
Yeah, we got to get him over
And-
that.
Yeah, and everybody
Everybody
subscribe.
get out there. Guniac, Dave's RC. They're close,
Yeah.
guys. They,
Mhm.
Guniac is always given to the community.
Jeff's
to the
Custom
guys.
Built RC.
He's always giving the burners away on everybody's shows. So you guys support him. He's going to be live streaming more. So definitely check out Guniac, guys, and support him.
Guys, give a
Yeah.
thumbs up and subscribe to these guys' channel because they're excellent. And little time as you guys have been doing this, actually, I think you're really professional. Jeff,
I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
it has been my pleasure to be on your show, guys. Thank you for the invite. You made my day.
Hey,
We're glad
awesome.
we made your day, my friend. And it's been a pleasure talking with you and hanging out with you and watching you grow, especially your
I
channel
learned
grow.
something good today. I learned how to play with the Skype.
Yeah, he's like a kid in a candy store when he first got it on. He goes, "Oh, I
You
can
guys-
change my background and I can make it blurry."
You guys see the pilot in there?
Yeah,
We created
absolutely.
a monster.
Oh, it's been awesome. Thank you guys.
I have to
Thank
work
you.
on my lighting next time. Right now, I think I look like Godfather, old Godfather or something.
Well, luckily
No,
with me
please.
now, I've got 2 monitors. I'm using the light off the monitors because I was telling Jeff, like, I was asking Dave RC, excuse me, Dave Marshall. I was like, where'd you get your lighting at? Because you're a white guy and you always look even more white because you got a lot of white light.
That
You know.
worked better. Take some of the dome off my dome.
And he gave it to me because at my shop I don't have no frontal light because I don't have a lot of white light in there. So yeah, that's here. It's this natural light here for me, but awesome guys. Yeah, so guys, as we always do, and as we always close with every show, from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure from Skip and Jeff themselves as well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everything that you guys do in the hobby. We've got to get Guniac over that 1,000. That's my goal. Let's
You're having too much damn fun.
yeah. So we got to get him. Let's try to do this with let's give it a week. By the end of the week, let's get Guniac over 1,000, because if anybody deserves this in this community, it's him. And
Yeah,
and
I'd say
great
he's
job.
a big contribution to RC. I mean, my jets alone, I've been dying for a good afterburner and at a decent price too.
Oh yeah, it's phenomenal. I've got several from him, and so yeah, that's let's put that as a goal for this week. Get him subbed out up to 1,000, and
Yes.
great.
If I could send him
Great
some
show
of my
today,
subscriptions,
too, Ray.
I would, right off the bat.
Well, Ray deserves it, man. He's given so much to this
Right.
community. He gives to every channel for their drawings. He sent me a free afterburner. I mean, Ray is awesome. I've got his afterburners right here that I bought from him to put in the SU. So, guys, definitely please check Ray out, support his channel, get him where he needs to be, guys. And as they say, share the love, because Ray has shared the love with all of us. And
The man builds a good product, and
Yeah.
he's fair on the price. He'll even tell you how to build them if you ask him. I mean, he's outright. The point of the matter is, like, and I quote, "It's amazing how many people out there don't want to take the time to do this. They'd rather
hey,
just."
Justin, can you drop a link for Ray?
Yeah, man,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, Jerry
Ray,
Wilson is
Ray,
out.
if you're watching, I'll get at least that F-18 up in the air real soon. Okay, guy? Promise.
Yeah, and Guniak had some thoughts about that, about especially about rotating
What the?
of the E-flite F-18.
Oh,
About the
yeah.
CG, because if you're flying off of a grass or if you're flying off a pavement, having like a little bit of CG helps with the rotation. But,
Yeah. You know what? I have another idea.
What's that?
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't.
No,
mean
you're
to
fine.
Um, I watched a little bit of it, and I actually took the time for a change to read the instructions and how to fly it. And they actually recommend full flaps on takeoff, not takeoff flaps.
Really?
Full flaps. And that is to alleviate that problem of rotation way on down the line. Like that. Remember how the F-16s used to be? They wouldn't get up to the last second.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost ready to hit that curb, and boom, then it'd pop up. Well, to alleviate that with the F-18, because it always did have traditionally that kind of a problem because of the way the gear is situated.
Mm-hmm.
It all rolls forward, so it messes with your CG. But they said for it to get it to pop up faster, use full flaps on the takeoff for the F-18.
Right on. Oh, and just a special announcement. In 2 weeks, we hit number 10. And we may have an announcement. We may not have an announcement. But we may have an announcement. You know what I'm saying?
Remember time what?
So we got 2 shows left, and we'll be at Flight Club 10. That means we've been doing this for 10 straight weeks.
Right.
So that's awesome. But
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate you guys. Sub to each other. Guys, look, if you're in the chat, hover over the person's comment to the far right. It comes like 3 dots. You can hit that, sends you to the channel. It opens up a new tab. Hit subscribe if you haven't. It's that easy. There's no reason why all of us shouldn't have already been subscribed to each other's channels. Support one another. Be kind to one another. And and just, guys, be safe. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight.
And if you don't like somebody's video, you don't have to tell them that it sucks. You don't have to you don't have to thumbs down. We don't necessarily like to see that. That doesn't really help us. If you don't like it, just don't say anything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And I mean, if you don't like it, if you have some constructive
Or if thumbs
criticism,
down is all you really want to say, that's fine too, I suppose. You're right to a thumbs down.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to be dirty digs.
Right.
Like,
Look, there's
been flying for obviously been flying stuff more than just top wing trainers for years, to turn around and tell him that he should start all over again and start with a top wing trainer,
right.
like an E-flite apprentice.
We are all in this hobby
control.
together. We need to support one another. There's a such thing as there's a big difference between being and having constructive criticism and then just being a blatant dick. Don't be that dick.
Exactly.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a
Do be a
dick.
doobie. Don't be a dick.
because Jeff knows I don't have a filter. So, well, you guys knew too. So we may start having as this stuff keeps up. We may have a session instead of, and we'll uplift everybody and show everybody's videos and whatnot. But we also may have a
Hey, give
don't be
Dave's
a
RC a wrench, please. Give Dave's RC a wrench. He's still gray, and we've got to get him blue.
wait. No, he ain't paid the $45.99. My wrench is cheaper.
I'm
Ryan's
blue.
red, Ryan
Make him blue, man.
I'm blue, ba ba dee da ba da.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. So I mean, we may have to start doing a don't be a dick where you guys there's like a dick comment or something like that. Y'all subscribe or y'all send it to Jeff or I, and we'll we'll post it up.
Dick of the week.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
But, absolutely, don't be a dick, guys. Again, constructive criticism, especially for me, I'm cool with it. I can handle it. My skin is thick.
Dave, you are blue, man. My man. Dave Garcia.
If it has fact and stuff, and there's something to learn by it, if there's somebody that's actually trying to get a point out, that I don't know. I love to hear that stuff. You know, I cherish it. You know, I don't look at that as a dig or anything. If I'm doing something wrong, I like to know about it.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Skip. Dave goes, speaking of bitches, Dave's RC is here.
Yeah.
Oh, he got you. He got you, Davey.
Yeah.
Oh man! All right, guys, this is enough. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Skip, again from the bottom of my heart for being on here
Man,
with us.
thank you again for having me, guys. It's been my highlight of the day. In all honesty, serious.
Well, I'm
I
glad.
was
I'm
tickled
glad we
they
were your
have-
highlight.
to
I
do-
really
Well, it
am.
won't be the last time, buddy. We'll have you again. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Anytime,
Absolutely,
anytime at all.
absolutely.
I'll try to. You guys give me an idea or a little heads
We'll have
up.
to get the flight test boys on here, Skip. The crash test boys.
Oh man,
You know
we'll,
what?
we'll be like Kenny. We won't go off the air. We have to do this like on a Friday night.
Once I trust them, and once they trust coming into my house, I guess we'll get all together and do this.
There you
We'll make it
go.
a
Or get the
pie.
boys sitting here and we'll do this.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Oh, and Dave Snyder, you got a wrench, buddy, because we're about to sign off here, and I just want to make sure you know that.
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right, guys.
See a different picture up here?
Well, all right, guys. Y'all guys take care. You guys have a great week. We got Ethan tomorrow as well as GB. Tune into those
Four.
guys. Really support Ethan because he
Three.
is the future of this hobby. And so he is like think of him as the ambassador for his generation. Mine's a millennial. Absolutely despise my generation. But he is the next step, and he is the next generation to keep this hobby alive. Thursday we got All Night Kenny. Love Kenny to death, but it's All Night Kenny. Then we got Mr. Dave's RC on Fridays. Mr. Pilot Ryan Media Saturdays. Mary Boozer Sundays, and Mr. The Air Marshal himself. Dave's RC. We don't watch to see Dave. We watch to see
Dave
Amy.
Mark.
I mean, excuse
That's
me,
right.
Dave Marshall. What? Gosh, too many Daves. I know there's only two. Damn it. Oh man. But yeah, we watch to see Amy.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, everybody, have a good night. Again, have a good week, and thanks for tuning in again. You guys have a good one.
Thanks,
Guys,
guys.
thanks again. I appreciate it. I had a good time.
Awesome, my
Take
friend.
care. See
Take
ya.
care.
Thanks, guys.